DaBaby just revealed a video in court where he claims Beyoncé was Diddy's freak-off girl at one of his infamous parties. This time, it involves Beyoncé and Jay-Z, and DaBaby's revelations are making everyone rethink what really goes on with Hollywood's biggest stars. DaBaby's unexpected interview, what he revealed. DaBaby's appearance on Shannon Sharpe's podcast took an unexpected turn when he dropped a bombshell about one of the most powerful couples in the music industry, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, and their alleged connection to Diddy's notorious freak-off parties. If you haven't heard about Diddy's parties, buckle up, because this is where things get wild. These aren't your typical celebrity soirees. They're secretive, exclusive, and if rumors are true, downright scandalous. And according to DaBaby, Beyoncé and Jay-Z were not only in attendance, but also played key roles in these controversial gatherings. I gotta admit, when I first heard DaBaby mention Beyoncé in this context, my jaw dropped. I mean Beyoncé at Diddy's freak-off parties? That's the kind of gossip that hits you like a freight train. We've always seen Beyoncé and Jay-Z as this untouchable power couple, private, respected, and always in control of their image. So, when DaBaby hinted that they were involved in these wild events, it felt like the curtains were being pulled back on a side of them no one ever expected. DaBaby didn't spill all the tea at once, but what he did reveal was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. During the podcast, he recalled a time when he attended one of Diddy's infamous parties, the kind that only a handful of top-tier celebrities are invited to. You can imagine the setting: extravagant, luxurious, and filled with A-listers who are all there for something more than just champagne and small talk. But according to DaBaby, this was no ordinary party. Diddy allegedly had a habit of throwing these freak-off gatherings where things got, let's just say, a little too personal and a little too explicit. Now, here's where things get even juicier. DaBaby mentioned that during one of these parties, Diddy cleared the room of most attendees, leaving only a select few high-profile individuals behind. Among them were none other than Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Can you imagine the scene? DaBaby standing there with two of the most powerful figures in the music world, and it's not just about networking or business deals anymore. The vibe was different, he said. Something was off. He didn't go into all the gritty details, but what he did say was enough to make anyone raise an eyebrow. He hinted that Beyoncé, in particular, was acting unusually friendly toward him, which caught him off guard. I mean, this is Beyoncé we're talking about, the queen of elegance and grace. And now DaBaby's suggesting there was something more going on behind the scenes? It's no wonder people are buzzing. What really made this whole story explode online was DaBaby's description of the atmosphere at the party. He didn't just throw out a casual mention of Beyoncé and Jay-Z being there. He painted a picture of a scene that was way more intimate and unsettling than what anyone could have imagined. According to him, Diddy himself got a little too close for comfort during the event. He put his arm around DaBaby in a way that felt off, especially given the context of the party and the people involved. You can almost picture DaBaby standing there, trying to play it cool, but feeling like something shady was happening. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time rumors about Diddy's freak-off parties have surfaced. For years, there have been whispers in the entertainment industry about these ultra-exclusive gatherings where celebrities, executives, and other powerful insiders get together for activities that are far from your typical Hollywood cocktail party. We're talking about debauchery, questionable behavior, and possibly even illegal activities. But the real kicker? Beyoncé and Jay-Z's alleged involvement in these events. For a couple that has always been so careful about their public image, being linked to something like this is shocking. DaBaby's revelations have reignited long-standing rumors about Jay-Z's control over Beyoncé. Over the years, there have been allegations, mostly dismissed as mere gossip, that Jay-Z exerts an unhealthy level of influence over Beyoncé, both in her personal life and her career. Some have even gone as far as to suggest that Jay-Z might have been using Beyoncé in these parties for business purposes. It's a wild accusation, and one that fans have been hesitant to believe for years. But DaBaby's comments have made people take a second look. What's even more unsettling is that this isn't just about one party. DaBaby's comments have opened up a can of worms, with other insiders coming forward to hint at similar things. People who have worked closely with Beyoncé in the past have hinted at troubling dynamics in her relationship with Jay-Z, and it seems like DaBaby's unfiltered account has pushed these rumors into the spotlight. The whole thing gets even murkier when you consider the legal troubles Diddy is currently facing. He's under investigation for serious criminal charges, including forced labor, kidnapping, and more. And get this, when law enforcement raided his house, they found an arsenal of disturbing items, including firearms and over 1,000 bottles of lubricant. I know, right? It sounds like something out of a twisted Hollywood thriller. With Diddy facing these charges, it's no surprise that people are now questioning who else might have been involved in his alleged illegal activities. The fact that Beyoncé and Jay-Z were mentioned in the same breath as these scandals has only added fuel to the fire. And let's not forget the fans. As soon as this interview snippet went viral, the internet went into detective mode. People started piecing together theories, digging up old rumors, and speculating about whether Jay-Z was actually complicit in these freak-off parties. Some even suggested that Jay-Z might have been pimping out Beyoncé to secure business deals. It's a crazy thought, but in the world of Hollywood, where power and influence often rule over morality, it's not hard to see why people are jumping to these conclusions. When DaBaby first dropped these comments, it felt like just another wild celebrity interview moment. But as more and more people started connecting the dots, it became clear that there might be more to this story than meets the eye. Could Beyoncé really have been caught up in something like this? Was Jay-Z involved in something darker than we ever imagined? And what does this mean for their carefully crafted public image as the ultimate power couple? Beyoncé and Jay-Z at Diddy's freak-off parties. Diddy's gatherings have long been whispered about for their exclusivity and for crossing the line into all sorts of inappropriate behavior, which is exactly why hearing names like Beyoncé and Jay-Z associated with them felt like a major shock. But what really got people talking was DaBaby's account of how Beyoncé, at one of these parties, was unusually friendly, almost too friendly for comfort, and how the vibe was completely off. Picture this. DaBaby is at one of these ultra-exclusive gatherings, and he's there with the most elite names in the industry, including Beyoncé and Jay-Z. It's a party where only the cream of the crop are invited, and as DaBaby describes it, the night takes a strange turn. Diddy clears out most of the attendees, leaving only a select group of high-profile individuals in the room: Beyoncé, Jay-Z, DaBaby, and a few others. The atmosphere changes. This is no longer just a networking event or a casual celebrity party. According to DaBaby, something about the whole setup felt off. The way Beyoncé interacted with him struck him as strange. She was, in his words, unusually friendly, almost like she was putting on a front or playing a role. Can you imagine that? Beyoncé, the queen of pop, being overly friendly with DaBaby at one of Diddy's most secretive parties. It's the kind of story that makes you sit up and wonder what was really going on. We all have this image of Beyoncé as being graceful, private, and untouchable, but here, she's being described in a way that feels totally out of character. DaBaby didn't go into every detail, but his implication was clear. There was something happening beyond just an innocent introduction. What added fuel to this rumor fire was DaBaby's mention of Diddy's odd behavior at the event. He described how Diddy became a little too physical with him, putting his arm around him in a way that felt more than just friendly. This wasn't just some casual arm-over-the-shoulder move. It felt calculated, like Diddy was pulling him into some deeper, more secretive circle. Paired with Beyoncé's unexpected friendliness, it's easy to see why DaBaby felt something wasn't right. The whole situation reeked of something darker, something that left him feeling uneasy. Of course, this has led to speculation about what exactly Jay-Z's role was in all of this. Could it be that Jay-Z was using Beyoncé in these situations to further his business interests? I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. Jay-Z is a master businessman, and the idea that he might exploit certain relationships or opportunities for his own gain isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. Some people are even suggesting that Beyoncé's friendliness towards DaBaby wasn't just her being polite. It was part of a larger scheme orchestrated by Jay-Z to maintain their power and influence in the industry. It's the kind of scandalous theory that feels too wild to be true. But with DaBaby's comments adding fuel to the fire, people are starting to believe that there might be some truth behind the rumors. What makes this even more unsettling is the fact that Beyoncé and Jay-Z have always been so private and careful about their image. For years, they've been portrayed as the ultimate power couple, perfect, untouchable, and always in control. But DaBaby's revelations have cracked that image wide open. If even a fraction of these rumors are true, it changes the entire narrative around their relationship and their place in the music industry. It's one thing to attend a party like this for the sake of business, but to be actively involved in something as shady as a freak-off party? That's a whole other level of scandal. The dark side of Hollywood's elite, power, control, and influence for years. Rumors about Diddy's notorious parties have circulated within Hollywood, but the details have always been vague until now. DaBaby's recent interview has brought new attention to these secretive gatherings, and the more you hear, the darker the picture becomes. Diddy's freak-off parties are said to be the kind of events that only the most powerful and influential figures in the industry are invited to. Celebrities, executives, and business moguls. But these aren't your run-of-the-mill Hollywood parties. The word on the street is that these gatherings are known for their debauchery, inappropriate behavior, and, according to some, even illegal activities. It's no secret that power and control are the currency in Hollywood, and for someone like Diddy, who has built an empire, these parties were allegedly a way to solidify those relationships with other powerful figures. But here's where things get disturbing. What happens at these parties goes way beyond champagne and conversation. The rumors suggest that things take a dark turn behind closed doors, with everything from questionable business deals to inappropriate behavior taking place. I mean, we've all heard the whispers, right? But could the reality be even worse than the rumors? According to some insiders, these gatherings are the kind of place where celebrities and executives go to indulge in their worst impulses without fear of consequence. Diddy, in particular, has been accused of orchestrating these events to not only satisfy personal desires, but to maintain control over those who attend. The power dynamics at play are unsettling. Those who want to stay in Diddy's circle know that attending these events is part of the deal, and what happens at the party stays at the party. What makes these rumors even more chilling is the alleged involvement of high-profile celebrities like Beyoncé and Jay-Z. For years, the two have been seen as untouchable, a couple that managed to rise to the top without getting involved in the more scandalous side of Hollywood. But DaBaby's account has people rethinking that narrative. Could they have been more deeply entrenched in this world than anyone realized? The fact that their names are now being mentioned in the same breath as Diddy's infamous parties has caused a wave of speculation. What really makes you stop and think is the level of secrecy surrounding these events. Everyone who's been to one of these parties knows the unspoken rule. You don't talk about what happens there. But now that these rumors are surfacing, it's hard to ignore just how far-reaching the influence of Hollywood's elite might go. We've seen time and time again how powerful figures in the industry are able to manipulate and exploit those around them to maintain their status. And Diddy's parties seem like a prime example of that. There are stories, some whispered, some outright shared, about the lengths people will go to in order to stay on top in this industry. The alleged debauchery at Diddy's gatherings is said to include everything from illicit items to physical stuff, with some insiders claiming that people are pressured into doing things they wouldn't normally do just to stay in the good graces of those who hold the power. It's a sickening thought, but one that's becoming harder to dismiss as more people come forward with their accounts. And here's the kicker. Diddy is currently facing serious legal troubles. He's under investigation for a laundry list of criminal activities, from forced labor to bribery. Law enforcement even raided his home and found some pretty disturbing things: firearms, defaced serial numbers, and over 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Yeah, you read that right. The discovery only adds to the suspicion that these parties weren't just casual get-togethers. There was something darker happening behind the scenes. As the legal investigation into Diddy's activities unfolds, it's likely that more shocking details will come to light. And the big question on everyone's mind is, who else is involved? Could other high-profile celebrities like Beyoncé and Jay-Z be dragged into this scandal? It's not hard to see why people are jumping to conclusions. Hollywood has always been a place where power and influence often lead to corruption, and it seems like this scandal is just the latest example of that. Jay-Z's alleged control over Beyoncé. Could there be truth behind the rumors? For years, whispers about Jay-Z exerting a disturbing level of control over Beyoncé have floated around, but they were mostly dismissed as just that, whispers. After all, they're the ultimate power couple, right? Two music icons who've built an empire together and, at least on the surface, seem like equals. But ever since DaBaby's comments on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, people are starting to reconsider those rumors. Could it really be possible that Jay-Z has been pulling the strings behind the scenes, controlling more than just their brand and public image? When DaBaby hinted at Beyoncé's unusual friendliness toward him during one of Diddy's notorious parties, it felt like a crack in the carefully curated image of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. DaBaby suggested that something wasn't quite right, that Beyoncé's behavior wasn't just out of character, but seemed forced, almost as if she was playing a role. This immediately reignited old rumors about Jay-Z's alleged control over her, with people starting to wonder if there was more to their relationship than meets the eye. Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, has been one of the most vocal insiders when it comes to these allegations. Uncle Ron has claimed that Jay-Z has been manipulating Beyoncé for years, keeping her under his thumb, both emotionally and physically. According to him, Beyoncé's public persona, strong, independent, and in control, doesn't match the reality of her life behind closed doors. He even went so far as to suggest that Jay-Z has been keeping Beyoncé on illicit items to maintain his control over her, which is a chilling thought if true. And let's be honest, it's not hard to see why these claims have gained traction, especially when you think about how controlled and polished Beyoncé's image has always been. The idea that this control might extend to her personal life isn't entirely far-fetched. These rumors were initially easy to dismiss because, come on, who would want to believe that one of the most powerful women in the world could be a victim of such manipulation? But as more insiders like Jaguar Wright began coming forward with similar stories, it became harder to ignore. Jaguar, a former collaborator with Jay-Z, didn't hold back when she accused him of being a master manipulator. She claimed that Jay-Z has been keeping Beyoncé in line with illicit items, making her more compliant and easier to control. It's wild to think that behind closed doors, there could be a much darker reality, one where Beyoncé, who is seen as untouchable, is trapped in a toxic cycle of control and abuse. Jaguar's allegations didn't just come out of nowhere. She's been outspoken about the darker side of the music industry for years, and she's never shied away from calling out big names like Jay-Z. While some have written her off as bitter or seeking attention, others are starting to take her claims more seriously, especially in light of DaBaby's recent comments. The idea that Beyoncé could be caught in a similar dynamic as other women in the industry, like Cassie, who has openly spoken about Diddy's manipulation, makes these rumors even more unsettling. DaBaby's candid nature has forced people to revisit these old rumors with fresh eyes. Suddenly, the idea that Jay-Z might be controlling Beyoncé no longer seems like a wild conspiracy theory. The way DaBaby described Beyoncé's behavior at the party, the forced friendliness, the strangeness of the whole situation, fits into the narrative that's been building for years. If Beyoncé really is under Jay-Z's control, it raises serious questions about what else might be going on behind the scenes in their relationship. What makes this even more disturbing is the fact that these claims aren't just coming from random sources. Uncle Ron and Jaguar Wright both have first-hand knowledge of Beyoncé and Jay-Z's inner circle. They've seen things that the public doesn't get to see, and their stories are eerily consistent. Could it be that the carefully constructed image of Jay-Z and Beyoncé as a power couple is just a front for something much darker? It's hard to say for sure, but the more you hear, the harder it becomes to dismiss these allegations as mere gossip. The idea that someone as powerful and influential as Beyoncé could be controlled in this way is tough to swallow. But it wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like this in the entertainment industry. The manipulation of women by powerful men is, unfortunately, a common theme in Hollywood, and Beyoncé might not be immune to it just because of her status. If anything, her immense fame could make her even more vulnerable to this kind of control. And if Jay-Z is indeed controlling her, it would mean that one of the world's most beloved icons is living in a gilded cage. Diddy's legal troubles, how this fits into a larger scandal. As you probably know by now, Diddy is facing some serious criminal charges, and they go way beyond just your typical Hollywood scandal. We're talking kidnapping, forced labor, and bribery, all part of an alleged criminal enterprise that Diddy is accused of running. And the more details that come out, the more you start to realize that this isn't just about Diddy. There's a real possibility that other high-profile celebrities, including Beyoncé and Jay-Z, might be tangled up in this mess as well. Here's the thing, Diddy's infamous freak-off parties have always been shrouded in secrecy. Everyone in the industry knew about them, but no one ever talked about what really went down at these gatherings. But now that Diddy is under investigation, it feels like all the skeletons are about to come tumbling out of the closet. The authorities have already raided his house, and what they found is nothing short of disturbing. They uncovered firearms, ammunition, and over 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Yeah, you read that right. Lubricant. It's the kind of detail that makes you wonder what in the world was really happening at these parties. As Diddy's trial looms closer, the big question on everyone's mind is, who else was involved? There's speculation that Diddy wasn't running this alleged criminal enterprise alone, and that other powerful figures in the entertainment industry might have been complicit in his illegal activities. Naturally, this has led to rumors swirling around Beyoncé and Jay-Z. After all, they were reportedly regular attendees at Diddy's parties, and their close association with him has raised more than a few eyebrows. Honestly, the more you hear about this, the more you start to wonder just how deep this rabbit hole goes. If Diddy is guilty of the charges he's facing, it's not hard to imagine that other big names might be implicated as well. The entertainment industry thrives on power and secrecy, and for years people have been able to get away with all sorts of shady behavior simply because of their influence and connections. But now it seems like the tide is turning. Diddy's legal troubles could end up being the tipping point that brings down more than just his empire. And let's not forget, Diddy has already been denied bail, twice. Despite offering up a $50 million bond and even putting up his mother's assets, the courts weren't having it. This alone suggests that the authorities are taking this case very seriously, and they're not about to let Diddy walk away from these charges easily. If he's found guilty, he could be facing a prison sentence of up to 100 years. But the real question is, who else might go down with him? The speculation about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's involvement in Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise is growing by the day. While no specific names have been confirmed yet, the fact that they've been associated with Diddy for so long has people wondering if they might have been part of the darker side of his empire. It's a troubling thought, but given everything that's come out so far, it's hard to ignore. The internet explodes, fans react, and theories run wild. It didn't take long for the internet to completely explode after DaBaby's comments about Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy's infamous freak-off parties surfaced. As soon as the interview snippet made its way online, social media was buzzing with reactions, theories, and all kinds of speculation. I mean, we're talking about Beyoncé and Jay-Z here, two of the most untouchable celebrities in the world. So when someone like DaBaby comes forward and drops hints about their involvement in these secretive and scandalous parties, you better believe people were going to run with it. Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, you name it, fans were everywhere trying to piece together the puzzle. And of course, the conspiracy theorists came out in full force. People started digging through old interviews, past social media posts, and even body language from public appearances, trying to find anything that could confirm or deny what DaBaby was hinting at. The internet is a wild place, and it didn't take long for some truly bizarre theories to start circulating. One of the biggest, and honestly most unsettling theories that went viral was the idea that Jay-Z could have been pimping out Beyoncé to secure business deals at these parties. I know it sounds crazy, but when you look at how powerful Jay-Z has become in the business world, some people started to wonder if his rise to the top came with a much darker price. Fans speculated that Beyoncé's friendliness toward DaBaby at the party wasn't just a harmless interaction, but something more calculated, orchestrated by Jay-Z for his own gain. One fan even said, "There's just too much smoke for there not to be some fire." And honestly, it's hard to disagree. The whole situation feels off, especially when you consider the level of secrecy surrounding Diddy's parties and the powerful people who attend them. Another fan chimed in, "We've been hearing rumors about Jay-Z controlling Beyoncé for years. What if this is just another piece of the puzzle?" Theories like these started spreading like wildfire, with everyone trying to connect the dots. But it wasn't just casual fans throwing out wild ideas. Some pretty high-profile individuals within the entertainment industry began weighing in as well. Industry insiders, people who've worked closely with both Beyoncé and Jay-Z, started hinting that these rumors might not be as far-fetched as they seem. A few even mentioned that Beyoncé has been noticeably more reserved in recent years, fueling speculation that something deeper is going on behind the scenes. One of the most viral moments to come out of all this was when a clip of Beyoncé at a basketball game started making the rounds again. In the video, she looks completely zoned out, barely keeping her head up, and fans started to wonder if this was another example of her being under some kind of influence. "Look at how out of it she is," one fan posted. "This isn't just exhaustion. Something's going on." It was the kind of video that, once paired with the allegations from DaBaby, made people question everything they thought they knew about Beyoncé and Jay-Z's relationship. Unsettling comparisons: Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy's alleged relationships. As DaBaby's revelations about Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy's freak-off parties continue to dominate headlines, it's impossible not to draw some unsettling comparisons between the rumors surrounding Beyoncé and the allegations about Diddy's control over his former girlfriend, Cassie. For years, rumors have circulated that Diddy manipulated and exploited Cassie during their relationship, keeping her in line through a toxic mix of emotional control and substance use. Now, with DaBaby's comments sparking fresh speculation, people are starting to wonder if Beyoncé could be in a similarly disturbing situation with Jay-Z. The rumors about Diddy and Cassie have been around for a while, and Cassie herself has come forward with some pretty harrowing claims. She alleged that Diddy would keep her illicit itemed during his infamous parties, making it easier for her to participate in activities she wouldn't normally engage in. It's a horrifying thought, but one that seems all too common in the world of Hollywood's elite, where power and influence often lead to abuse. And now, with DaBaby's comments bringing Beyoncé and Jay-Z into the conversation, people can't help but wonder if there's a parallel between Cassie's relationship with Diddy and Beyoncé's relationship with Jay-Z. What makes this all the more disturbing is that Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, has already hinted at troubling dynamics in her relationship with Jay-Z. Uncle Ron didn't just drop vague hints. He flat-out claimed that Jay-Z has been controlling Beyoncé for years, even keeping her on illicit items to maintain his influence over her. It's chilling to think that someone as iconic and seemingly powerful as Beyoncé could be stuck in a situation like this, but at this point, it's hard to ignore the mounting evidence. Jaguar Wright, another industry insider, has also spoken out about Jay-Z's alleged control over Beyoncé, and her accusations are just as disturbing. According to Jaguar, Jay-Z has been using illicit items to keep Beyoncé compliant, much like the way Diddy reportedly controlled Cassie. Jaguar's claims have raised a lot of eyebrows, and while some people have dismissed her as being overly dramatic, others are starting to take her allegations more seriously, especially now that DaBaby's comments have added more fuel to the fire. The idea that Beyoncé, one of the most influential women in the world, could be in a similar situation as Cassie is hard to swallow. But when you look at the broader picture, it starts to make a disturbing kind of sense. Beyoncé's public persona has always been one of strength, independence, and control. But behind the scenes, could she be trapped in a relationship where Jay-Z holds all the power? It's a question that more and more people are asking, and the answers, if they ever come to light, could be devastating. The rumors about Jay-Z keeping Beyoncé on illicit items aren't new, but they've often been brushed aside as mere gossip. However, as more insiders like Uncle Ron and Jaguar Wright come forward with their stories, it's becoming harder to dismiss these claims. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Beyoncé and Jay-Z anymore. DaBaby's comments have dragged Diddy into the mix, and the more people dig into the connections between these powerful figures, the more unsettling the whole situation becomes. The parallels between Cassie's experience with Diddy and the rumors about Beyoncé and Jay-Z are impossible to ignore. Both women are, or were, involved with incredibly powerful men who have been accused of manipulating and controlling them. Both relationships are shrouded in secrecy, and both have been the subject of persistent rumors about illicit item use and emotional abuse. It's the kind of story that makes you wonder just how much of what we see in the public eye is real, and how much is carefully constructed to hide the truth. What's even more troubling is that these aren't isolated incidents. The entertainment industry has a long history of powerful men exploiting and controlling the women around them, and Beyoncé and Cassie might just be the latest examples of this disturbing trend. If the allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy are true, it paints a very dark picture of what life is really like for some of the most famous women in the world. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.